Cheers.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? Paul Apostolakis, Salvatore Kuzmano, Bradley Weisgerber, and today we have in the studio Mr. Mike Jacobs, who's part of our team over at Omega Lending. We are...
How come I'm Bradley and he's Mike instead of Michael?
I don't know. We are Inside Real Estate. Thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate you being here today. We've got an interesting show. No guests today, but we have. I came across a list. It's an economic news. It's a list by this reporter or marketing person named Brandy Young, and she chatted with some LOs. And basically, she made a list of 13 things loan officers wish the agents they work with would consider, understand, or do not do. So a lot of times in our industry, there's a rift between like agents and loan officers. So I read through this list. Some of these I don't agree with.
Can I guess one?
No, you can't. No. That's not how it works. That's not what we're doing, man.
Okay, explain.
God damn it. So it's gonna be a really interesting show. Mike Jacobs is part of our team. I think he closed about $3 million last month. He's a great loan officer. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Glad to be finally invited.
Talking to the mic.
I'm doing really well, and I'm glad to finally been invited on the podcast.
You didn't really get invited. You kind of just said you were coming. Is what happened. Sal said Jacobs is coming tomorrow, and I said okay. Which, by the way, a guy on our team, Nathan Nix, asked to be on the show yesterday, and I said no because I was like, we're going to do this thing with us three. And Mike just kind of, sorry, Nathan.
That's what I do. I just kind of show up.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't correct you on his actual exact closing numbers.
What was it? What was it?
I actually 2.5, 2.6. I don't know.
Okay, I gave him a few inches.
I was expecting him to be actually, Paul, it was 2.759.
Yeah. So for what it's worth, we work with real estate agents all the time, right? So, and historically, sometimes there's a rift. Some agents don't like working with loan officers. Loan officers get frustrated with agents, and that happens, right? But there's certain things I think that we as loan officers should do for real estate agents in transactions. Sure. And I think there's certain things that real estate agents should do for loan officers. It should be a team effort. So this will be interesting because this lady, she basically she interviewed loan officers with an average of 16 years in the business and none with less than 12. So these are people that have been in the industry for some time. And these were California-based loan officers for what it's worth. So we're going to go through every one of these. So there's 13 of them. They start with, I wish the agent, and then it's going to be whatever the comment is, okay?
You get it.
So we're going to go through them, and then we're going to debate whether or not it's bullshit or we think it's, legit. Fair?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess just hearing what you said up front, though, not that there's a bias towards it, but people who are, 14, 15 years selling loans, right, or doing real estate, it's kind of like they never advanced.
That happens a lot.
So it's they might not be good.
It's weird that we think like that, but it's true sometimes. Because when I hear someone say, I've been doing this for 30 years,
Paul,
I'm
how long have you been selling loans?
16 years. but I am not.
He's not writing loans anymore.
Not only that, though, but I always was like, dude, I don't know everything, right? I'm not going to sit here. It doesn't matter what you did 14 years ago. It matters what you did in the last 12, 16, 18 months. That's all that matters.
Knowing that they got selected probably gave them a hard on, right? So
yeah. So
let's see what they got.
We'll run through it because there's 13 of them. We can spend about 3 minutes on each. So first one, I wish the agent understood calling me several times a day for status updates don't actually, understood calling me several times a day for status updates doesn't actually speed things up. So some agents are, I kind of agree with this one. Some agents are just all over us sometimes. It's like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do this? A good loan officer, in my opinion, I think Sal, Mike, you do this. When there's a milestone in the transaction, we reach out and we say, hey, the appraisal's ordered. It's due back here. We're going to do this. We do have to keep them informed, but what happens is sometimes real estate agents, they're thinking about that paycheck. It might be the only deal they're closing that month, and they're all over us. Do you see this happening for you guys?
Yeah, it happens constantly. So I'm always sending updates to the real estate agents, calling and just making sure they're up to date. And, sometimes if they're calling a lot, I'll just tell them, listen, when there's some news, I'll certainly let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to like almost put 'em,
Pump
like,
the brakes, bro.
hey,
Yeah. Like, we're on it.
you don't have to call me again. I mean, I've definitely had conversations where it's like, do not call me again. Like, do not call my phone or text it. I will text you, and I promise, because I don't want to hear from you again.
To be fair,
In a little nicer words.
yeah, but to be fair, some loan officers don't give enough updates
For
on
sure.
on the other
Well,
side of it, right?
And also, too, if you're working with someone who you've never worked with before, I could tell them that, but they don't know.
right.
Right.
They
I
don't
mean,
trust it yet, right?
like,
You got to trust the
For
process.
sure. And I've got even borrowers sometimes are like that, and it's almost like I don't know how to what I would say. It's like they're gun shy, right? Because they've like.
I knew it was going to be like a war reference.
No,
Gun
I'm
shy.
just saying, like, they closed on home before. It was a nightmare. They
Nightmare,
got
yeah,
fed a line
right.
of bullshit all the way to the end,
Yeah.
right? And I have a borrower right now. It's like, last closing was a nightmare. I'm like, you don't have to text me every, like, you know,
I feel
but
like it's
I get
twofold.
it, because how should she be able to trust us because we
Right.
haven't closed?
But so
right?
I think
Yeah.
it's twofold. I think it's one, the agent wants updates, but two, that loan officer, when they're giving updates, right from the very beginning, give an update, foreshadow what's coming next. When are you going to hear from him again? At what point?
Yes.
That way, when you start delivering on these little micro expectations, they start easing off. By the end of the process, they're fully comfortable
You
with
can usually tell who the other person, or, you know, on the other side of the phone, who they
Right.
are, right? Like how much experience they have. When you
Yeah.
say, hey, it's all good, whatever, like if they give a response like, okay, what does that mean?
You got to let them know, man.
Like,
They-
hey,
yeah,
like,
they're
all
nervous.
right, this is next. Like, it's okay if you're dealing with someone new, right?
I
But
think,
you just gotta let
unfortunately,
them know what to expect.
the reality is there's a lot of bad loan officers, just like there's a lot of bad agents.
Well, I'm
just
sure
overall.
when I was new and started making calls to people and they asked me questions and I was like,
Well, a lot,
I don't know.
Yeah. And don't give bullshit answers.
Yeah.
either. Don't make promises you can't keep if you're a loan officer out there. And I think real estate agents deal with this all the time. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get the CTC to the next few hours. Well, that probably isn't gonna happen. And I always say like there's like a 12% chance that works out. But the reality is, it's going to take a few more days, and right, you've got to give proper expectations. If you overpromise in our industry, in any part of it, you're fucked. Like your word is all you have, so protect that.
Yep.
Right? If you tell them it's going to take 2 days and you get it done in a day, you're going to look great. But if you tell them you're going to get it done in 5 hours and it takes 3 days, you're going to look like shit. Right? So don't do that out there. So, all right, next one. I wish the agent would not quote rates or recommend program types without speaking to me first. If they get it wrong, it's an awkward start to a relationship with their client.
I want to change that to.
You can't change it. She wrote it.
I know, but that last part can just be removed.
say it again.
I wish the agent would not quote rates or recommend program types without speaking to me first. If they get it wrong, it's an awkward start to a relationship with their client.
It should just be. I wish agents would not quote rates or prices.
Period. Yeah. Yeah. Leave that to us.
Don't
right?
not without speaking to me first. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't go
think
show
it's
houses
fair to
for you.
foreshadow though, like, hey, like, you know, it sounds like you might be good for a conventional loan. Like I mean,
Yeah, that's
good
fine.
agents can hey, you know, do you have good credit? Like,
Where it gets problematic though is you should be getting a 3.5%.
Yeah,
When
For
they
sure.
don't know their credit scores, they don't know the down payment, they don't know, right? That's where it's problematic. Like, oh, that rate sounds too high, or they're trying to. They don't. There's a lot that goes into that, so it's not fair.
and you could tell like that someone doesn't really understand what their how the rates work, and not that they should, but when they say what is the current rate today,
All right,
anyone who asks that question doesn't understand rates.
because it doesn't work like that.
That'd be like me
yeah.
calling an agent and be like, or calling a buyer and saying, "I'll go show you this house." Oh, and you should really be getting 2% of your agent's commissions towards your closing costs. Like, why aren't
yeah.
you getting that? That would be crazy, right? It's the
Right.
same thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's a good
think
point.
that I've probably annoyed agents until I kind of got coached on this, like telling people like, hey, you're going to get concessions, right?
Yeah.
And they might not be able to. So now if I foreshadow it, hey, it's an option, but I don't know. That might not be an option. You got to talk to your agent.
Right, you got to negotiate that.
Because it might not be possible on a house that you really like.
Right,
if
it's
you need it.
negotiated, right?
Yeah.
You can get concessions on this program, but you have to negotiate that. That's on your realtor. You just, in my opinion, is you got to know enough about the other lane to be able to pass it back effectively to the real estate agent, and they've got to do the same to you to make them. The client wants to feel good. Like, look, I think rates are great right now. You talk to my guy, he's really good, whatever, right? Then pass the ball over to us and let us handle that, because it doesn't make sense for someone that isn't proficient 100%. Like if I didn't write loans for 1 year, I wouldn't like totally understand the market anymore. That's how quick you get out of it, right? Even like I don't write as many loans anymore as I used to, and I'm not proficient as I used to be. It's just the reality of what it is. So for me to pretend like if I was a real estate agent to like know what's happening, even if you were a loan officer 10 years ago, I've heard this before. I used to be a loan officer. I know what's happening. Dude, you don't know. Things have changed. Things changed right now. And they changed again right now. That's how it works. So what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree. I think people
That's
should.
all we needed.
Don't cut me off.
Next one is I wish the agent, this one's a long one, knew that when I go back to the client time after time for additional paperwork to meet conditions, it's the lender asking time after time, and often at the 11th hour, I have to get. I personally have my stuff together. It's the lender's fault. This I think is bullshit.
I think that's bullshit.
That's
100%.
absolute bullshit. That's absolute bullshit.
Any loan officer that's been in the business this long can anticipate conditions. If they really do a good job up front, ask the right questions, there are going to be things that come up. But time after time after time,
It happens. Things do
happens.
pop up. An underwriter
BS.
might come up with, "Oh, we missed this large deposit. You have to source it, right?" But that you should be giving yourself ample time to be doing that. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, things happen, but I think it's bullshit if that keeps happening over time after time. That there's like fire drills at the end. That means the loan officer didn't do all the right stuff up front. I think.
To a degree, I think it depends on the deal. You know, some deals are really easy, and sometimes it ends up that, like, you have to wait for something that, you know, the client's getting, and then when we get it, and then there's issues with it, or there's a large deposit.
Yeah, but
or
you
something.
foreshadowed that. This is a tough file. There's some hair on it. Don't expect this date to be right. It shouldn't be the 11th hour. It should be properly expected.
Yeah, I understand, but sometimes I just feel like inevitably it does happen. You know?
sometimes.
Like,
It should be the exception, not the rule, though, bro. Right? If that's happening on every file, there's something wrong.
That's a
Yeah.
big issue.
Right? It's a big issue if it's happening on every file. You should be avoiding that at all costs. So, just to sit here and say, get off my back, it's the lender's fault. That's like nobody cares about the lender or your underwriter. It's ultimately you that's handling that transaction. Nobody gives a shit.
for sure.
Right?
I guess I wasn't listening when you read that. I don't even know what it says.
Okay.
But
Next, you're a great guest and host. I wish the agent would tell me at the beginning of the transaction how best to communicate with them. For example, do you want daily, weekly updates, or an update every time something happens? Each of your needs are different. I'm not clairvoyant. Tell me, please.
How about ask them?
I disagree.
I disagree with this too. You should be in high communication the whole time.
Well, not only that,
But I like
if
to
that's
tell
what you
the
want,
agent,
you should
this
ask.
is what's going to happen.
So they
and that way
understand.
they know. I don't want them to direct me, and I don't want to ask them how many times they want to be updated. I'll give them the information. Say, hey, you'll hear from me here, here, or here. That way, it's done, over with, and we don't have to worry about it.
I think there should be milestones set. Like you'll hear from me when the appraisal comes in. We'll talk then. We'll talk here.
yeah, I'll
Right.
let you know when the appraisal comes in. I'll let you know when we're clear to close, and I'll let you know if there's issues.
Right.
Right.
Other than that,
Or if I need something from you.
that's it. There's no other reason
And
that
if I need something from you, please get it to me.
Yes. Yeah. But like asking the agent I want an update every Friday at 7 a.m. or every 3 days, whatever it is. Like if they say that doesn't matter. It should be like this is the next step. When we get to that next step, we'll talk about that's where we're going to go. And if you're proficient, there should be good communication. If there's an issue, there should be communication. It shouldn't be like, I need something from the real estate agent, but I can't call them because I'm supposed to call them on Friday morning at 9 a.m. to give them an update. It doesn't work like that, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
These
Okay.
loan officers she asks are terrible.
They're professionals. They've been in the business for 16
I just think
years.
it's like have an open line of communication, right? When, like you said, a milestone happens, great. Otherwise, just call me if you need anything. If you want to know what's going on, just call me, text me.
Yeah, it's
You know?
it's weird to me that this someone would say this just because it's like that's not how business works. I don't know. It's weird. Like I'll give you an update. Like, it doesn't work. Like when something happens, you're moving, right? Everybody's trying to get this deal closed, right? Everybody is. That's one thing that I think everybody needs to understand. Real estate agents, the client, the sellers, title companies, the loan officer, everybody is invested in getting this deal closed. And what happens is because it's in loan officers' hands, they become the linchpin. Everybody's like, they're not communicating. I get it. Things happen, but just have good communication. That's what I think overall. What do you think, Brad?
Yes.
Okay. Next one. I wish the agent believed I am just as committed to getting his or her deal closed to meet contract deadlines as they are. I need to make a living too.
Next, we just talked about that.
That is, I mean, it's true though.
You literally just talked about it.
I touched on it, but like, dude, everybody wants to get paid.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think this is legitimate. I think
Yeah.
sometimes real estate agents, I think they think potentially like the file's not important. Right. Every file is important. Right. We want to make sure A, our reputation's on the line. B, our paychecks are on the line, and C, our relationship with that agent is on the line.
That's not necessarily true, though, in all shoes, right? I mean, in ours, yes, of course, whether it's 50K or...
You have a good point.
But you think the guy at Quicken for the 50K or whatever... Or,
he's got 30
maybe
loans
not
in his
Quicken,
pipe.
just in general, anywhere, right? Maybe... I mean, if you're not really... like client focused, right? And you're more
There
like
is something to be said for that, because if you're transaction focused and you have 30, 40 loans in your pipeline, and I've had that. I've had huge pipelines before, and that one loan doesn't really mean as much because you might be only getting paid $500 on that loan.
The problem loans usually mean the most to me because they're like a needle, like a thorn in my foot or my side.
You want
It's
to get
like,
it out of your life.
Want it over with because it really is a nightmare.
Yeah. That is interesting. So I guess
I feel like every loan officer, every agent, if they have a lot of deals, they always have one or two that are like, I can't wait for this one to close.
I think if a real estate agent feels like a loan officer doesn't care about a file, they shouldn't work with that loan officer. If that file is not important to them,
right?
You know what I mean? I think that's the ultimate thing.
Never work with them again.
Don't work with them again. No.
Yeah.
You have the option of that. All this goes back to, and we'll keep going, but as a real estate agent, having a really good team around you of people that you trust and have good cadence with, and this is why it's important for even real estate agents to have like 3 or 4 lending companies that they really feel good about, right? And when they talk to a client, say, these are the people that I trust, right? Now, ultimately, it's up to the client who they want to use, but even as a client, they should kind of follow their counsel and say, okay, if I believe in my real estate agent, which they should because they hired them, then they should probably believe in their team too, right? So if you're listening out there, just make sure if you're an agent that you've got a good team. I don't think some agents really value the loan officer part of it as much as they should, because I think the good real estate agents have good teams around them, title, inspectors, loan officers. They've built that around them to give good experiences, right?
Yeah, you're only as good as your weakest link.
That's true. That's a good line.
Thanks.
Yes. Very good. Okay. Next one. What's wrong with you? Why are you staring at me like that?
I'm just waiting for you to go to the next one.
Did you drink at a campfire again?
Are you
last
drunk
night?
again? No, you look fine. Your eyes are open. Dude, that was a funny episode. If anybody wants to go back a couple episodes ago,
let's go.
Brad was
Moving
so
on.
drunk that he didn't say a word, and he was in pain.
I wasn't
the whole
drunk in
time.
here.
Yeah, you were, bro.
No, no.
You were probably legally drunk. Legally.
I had a legally headache.
Okay. Next one. I wish the agent knew I don't blame them for not believing loan officers anymore. The bad ones are gone now. Don't make me pay for their mistakes. I mean, the bad ones aren't all gone,
No,
dude.
they're not,
No,
for
they're
sure.
out there.
There's bad ones
There's
everywhere.
more.
And this one bugs me
There's
too.
more bad ones than good ones.
100%.
But this one bugs me too because it's like, I wish they knew this. Well, tell them. Like, we're talking about open communication. Say, hey, explain that to them, right? And then prove it. Back it up.
Well, you can't say.
Yeah, you can. Hey, listen, don't hold me accountable to all the shitty loan officers, right? I'm a professional. I do good at my job. Here's what's going to happen. And then stand up behind it and meet those expectations.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah,
You got to tell them that.
Agreed. But for this Yahoo to say the bad ones are all gone now,
Yeah, that's bullshit.
they're all gone.
That's crazy.
So there's 3 bad ones in here.
They live in a utopia.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They just they just disappeared.
Yeah.
There was a cleansing of bad loan officers.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and you know what? Like
There's
you
bad
said,
everything.
this being in California,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, there's not as many like retail lenders out there than there is here.
I
You know?
agree. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easy, and I feel like it's probably harder out there to get business and keep getting business. So maybe, the selection there is a little better, but I don't think that's true. I was an AE and had California accounts that just
there's shitty loan
fucking
officers everywhere.
suck.
Yeah, there's shitty loan officers.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
If there
You
were
know?
no shitty loan officers, there'd be no like competitive advantage for being a loan officer. Like,
Right.
what do you mean? Like,
Which is kind of, it is funny too, because sometimes when you talk to clients, it's like, I wouldn't even be talking to you if this was easy. You
No,
know,
right.
like if there was like, if a file like yours didn't exist, I wouldn't have a job.
right? You can just put it in a computer.
You know,
and you get
because
your
they're
money,
like,
right?
well, what? I don't understand. Like, why is it? I'm like, dude, trust me.
Yeah.
You know, like I got someone right now. They're like, in Canada, it's so much easier to get a loan. You go to like 2-3 banks, they have their rate. There's no points or anything like that. Like you just get your rate, right? Choose the best one. He goes, it doesn't matter what the house appraises for.
It's different, right?
Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
willing to pay it, you still can, or what? I don't know. It's like, I was like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
and they
that's
don't
fucked
have
up,
30-year
yeah.
fixes unless they came out with them recently. But it used to be. And it
You
might
got to
still
like
be.
remortgage it every like
It's every
7 years,
five or
something
7
like
year
that.
arms. That's all you can get in Canada. What's wrong?
I never heard that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have long-term fixed mortgage. They're all 3, 5, 7 year mortgages.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's crazy. I guess like you can like way overpay for a house.
Well, look at Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
Some of those the Canada, some of the Toronto, their prices have gone nutty, and they're still nutty. Like a bungalow's like 1.5 million in Toronto. That's like it's
Yeah, it
crazy.
really is pretty hard to get a mortgage in general. I mean,
It's not easy. It's
it can be, you know, but it is funny because like when you talk to people, however, like there is no human element, right? Human opinion. Like it's just you meet it or you don't. You could be 99 and literally on a deathbed, like, and get a 30-year mortgage.
yeah, but there's also no black.
That always blew my mind.
But there's no black and white either. It's weird because like everybody thinks like, oh, what's my cash to close? Well, it's not that simple, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of gray in our business, which
I
is
think
hard.
that's the shittiest part about it is
Yeah.
people get their numbers usually a day or two before closing,
Yeah.
which if you foreshadow correctly and
I always
and you
overestimate.
estimate,
I always
yeah,
overestimate.
hey, it's going to be less than we talked about, and it's always usually fine, right?
If you do that, you'll be all right.
But nonetheless, just the mad dash to go send a wire or get a check sometimes is like
getting a payoff, getting it
Yeah.
like all of a sudden they made a payment. They didn't tell you they made a payment to the mortgage. Now you
well,
pay
the
them
true
payoffs off.
intentions of TRID were circumvented before it even started.
Trade is bullshit.
You know, like
Trade didn't. I mean,
Trade-
this
It was a
3-day
giant
the
waste of
3-day
time.
wait. It's so funny. I remember UWM was like, you don't got to wait.
just so everybody knows, Trade.
Yeah, don't gotta wait.
TRID are the rules that came out after the crash to kind of protect consumers. The whole thought process was you'll get your numbers 3 days before you close.
Because
Well,
just like now, right, when you're balancing the HUD 1, which was the old closing disclosure, it always happened like the day before.
right.
Yeah, or the day of. It's nothing really changed. They went through this whole thing, redesigned all the documents to make them easier to read for a consumer. Fail. They're not easier to read. They suck.
Dude,
It's more confusing.
It's way more confusing.
yeah. The GFE was easier than
yeah.
the
100%.
Yeah.
And the GFE, like all the items matched, like what the HUD would look like.
Well,
or
it's
like
so funny. One
the
of the
CD
biggest
doesn't.
costs, which is tax prorations on a purchase,
They don't even show in the LE.
it's on adjustments and other credits.
Yeah.
What
Where's that
do you
put it?
mean? Well, there's these 3
It's
prorations,
like thousands
right?
of dollars. What is this adjustment?
And then
to other
there's
credits?
where's your appraisal credit? Well, it's in there,
It's
so
in
it's all
that-
it's all
yeah.
in there. Trust me.
There's
it's
like 30 items in that one line.
There's a lot
item.
of trust that someone has to give.
So
Crazy.
yeah, as a loan officer, there's a lot of loan officers that don't put all the fees because they're not actually required to put all the fees on the initial
The
loan
new-
estimate.
The loan estimate's designed to not have those. Like
It's
You
so
could
weird.
put
stupid.
0 in for escrows.
Yeah.
You could put.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can do
there's.
anything. There's so many ways to manipulate that
Yeah.
form. And
Oh, my closing
and it's
costs
a
are
lot harder for
$1,200.
us.
It's so funny when someone's like, "Well, they said the closing costs are like $2,000."
They're not.
I'm like, maybe they're actual costs,
Yeah. Right.
But then you got taxes,
Box A.
insurance.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, and it's harder for us because we actually, as a company, we made a decision to overestimate everything on purpose on the front end and make and actually put the numbers as close to possible.
And
with
we
padding.
lose deals because of it.
Yeah, we
For
do.
sure we do.
Yeah, because somebody will
But
tell
fuck
them
'em.
your cash to close is not going to be 10,000; it's going to be 8, and then they get to the table and it's 12, right? Because those fees have to be paid regardless, right?
Yeah, but ultimately, the customers that stay with us, which is the majority, are much happier at the end.
For sure.
Much
No
happier.
surprises.
And we'll even get
And the
calls.
people that leave because of the lower cost, they always, or they don't always, but they. a lot of
have-
Well,
times
hear from
they'll-
their
they'll
agent
call back, or the
usually,
agent will
and
call
they'll
back
say,
and say,
"Hey,
yeah,
man,
They got
it was a
screwed.
nightmare at the end. They had to
yeah,
bring more cash to
they're
close.
they're freaking out. Is this legit?" I'm
Yeah.
like,
And you're just like, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
"Yeah,
I
I
told
did
them that.
explain it to
I
them."
tried telling them up front until I was blue in the face, and they didn't want to hear it. So it's,
It
good
happens.
luck.
You know what are you gonna do?
All right. I wish the agent would take into account that I am human, therefore fallible. We all make mistake now and again, and we all work to fix it. Don't burn a bridge with me for being human. Yeah, we make mistakes. Everybody makes
Everybody does.
Yeah.
That's
I
real estate
think,
agents
though,
do, appraisers do.
realistically,
But nobody
Fallible.
falls on the sword. Everybody tries to hide the mistakes.
Yes, and it
that's the problem.
goes back to two things ago or 3 things ago, where it's like it's the lender's fault. Fuck that. Fall on the sword. It's your fault.
It's your fault. Yeah, people hide their mistakes.
maybe it is the lender's fault. How
doesn't
did
matter.
the lender deal with it?
Right.
But it doesn't
Because
matter.
if the lender's like, well, you didn't get me all the info I needed, right? Like, when did they ask for it? Blah, blah, blah. Like,
Right.
you can always break down a situation and kind of see what or where went wrong, but it's as soon as it went wrong, what was done to fix it.
Right.
And that's what
that's the trick.
that's what
the trick.
separates the good from the bad. Because,
Yes.
like, trust me, I mean, shit goes wrong on like 50% of files.
Something that you weren't
People don't
expecting.
even
Yeah.
know.
No, they don't.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, like, I got to figure this out. I have to.
But the
figure this
moment
out. I
you
will lose
realize you
sleep over
can't
it.
figure it out and it's going to cause an
Yeah.
issue is the very that moment is when you got to let everybody know.
And then
And that's
usually
the
when you
problem.
let everyone know, like, other people collaborate. Hey, we'll do this.
We'll do
like,
that. Yeah, we'll
all
figure it
right.
out. The problem is a lot of loan officers, and I think real estate agents have a serious gripe on this, is they're not transparent. They don't tell them when there's something goes wrong. They try to hide it. They try to fix it on the back end where it's a point of no return, and then they're not answering their phone. All of a sudden,
Yes, that's
the
what I was
loan
about to say.
officer goes dark, and now it's like, well, what's going on?
And
Well,
then
the
it goes back to the previous ones where not calling and updating the
Yeah.
agent, so the agent's blowing you up. Well,
Yeah.
why? Because you're not giving them bad news and you're avoiding them, right?
telling someone
It's
bad news is
so
hard,
important.
but
Agents
it's the
go
right
dark
thing to
too.
do.
Sometimes an
Yeah.
appraisal or something will come
Yeah.
in so low, and it's like, where the fuck are the comps?
Yeah,
I'm trying to like rebut this.
yeah.
You want me to
Fallible's a
rebut
funny
it,
word,
but you
by the way.
won't. You won't send me that, and then
Sounds like facts.
they're dark.
Yeah, a lot of agents don't even pull comps before they
Yeah.
price a house, and it
And
leaves
it's like,
us
we
in a
all
bad
knew this was
position.
going to happen. So what are you going to tell your seller? Well, we haven't talked to him yet.
We'll cross that bridge.
Did you talk to your seller? And then I'm that guy who's like, where's the CTC? Where's the C? Did you talk to your seller?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, all right, we talked to them. They're going to relist it. Well, great. We
Can I
should have known
add
that
one
a
to
week
this?
ago.
You can't,
If it's not on there,
we'll go through the list and then you can add it at the end.
I'll forget by then.
Okay. So yeah, I think the moral of the story on that one is just fall on the sword as soon as you realize there's a problem that it can't be fixed. Because if you don't, it's just going to get worse for you.
It's not.
and that's across the board.
And you know what? You can't. No one could be mad if you say, hey,
here's what happened.
I didn't know this.
Right.
They have to file their taxes and get their tax transcripts or something like that, right?
Right.
I didn't know they didn't file their taxes.
Yeah.
Most people file their taxes
Right.
before they get a loan,
Right.
but that's not their
Look,
fault.
they didn't do
for
that,
them
did
to
they?
know.
As
so
long as-
now they know they're going to do it. I need a week or two extra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it's okay.
Okay. Let's
All
figure
right.
it out. Yeah.
yeah.
I get it.
Hey,
I get
seller's cool. Closing 2 weeks later.
It. Yeah.
All right. My bad.
Yeah.
But let's get it done.
Yeah. Totally. Okay. I wish the agent would consider us partners. Our relationship is symbiotic. That's
It's
true.
a big word.
That's true. Some agents don't look at us as partners. Sometimes they look at us as like a problem or like, those are in my opinion the bad
Well,
agents.
listen, we all need each other.
We do, bro.
You know, like
Yeah,
and,
we're yin and yang.
We can't, especially so once you start to close a lot of volume. Sometimes you're like, I don't need that fucking headache,
Mm-hmm.
but you need them.
Yeah.
You know, like God, that agent's such a pain in the ass. Like, there are some people, and I see their name come up on my caller ID, and I'm like, God, dude, hello,
Right.
hi,
Right. And then you're like,
and then
hey.
I realize they're like, hey, I was just thinking about you. I got a great lead for you. It's like,
Yeah.
Glad I answered that call.
but like I need them just
Yeah.
as much as they need me to get their deal done, right?
1,000%. 1,000%. And we can't forget that. Like it is a symbiotic relationship. It is totally a symbiotic relationship. We can't be them without we can get our own business other way, but like if you're really going to have relationships with real estate agents, like it's a very symbiotic
Well, and as
relationship.
soon as you take it for granted,
It's over.
yeah, hey,
Yeah.
Those
this,
holes
this
ain't
person's
loyal.
a pain in the ass, but
Somebody else is right there that might be
Yeah.
better than you that wants to court them, right? Like, so
Right.
you have to give them the service
there's always
they
someone
deserve.
hungrier too. you know?
Yeah.
It's always got to be the honeymoon phase because them hoes ain't loyal.
What was that? What was the last part?
It's always got to be the honeymoon phase because them hoes ain't loyal.
And you know what? It is funny too. Like if you have the luxury of having other people in your company, right, and you don't have the time to devote to someone, you need to like address that. Hey, listen, like, sorry if I sound like I don't have the time. I need to find someone else in my team.
That's what I've been having to
help
do.
you out,
Yeah,
right.
I've had to do that. I'm
That can give you the attention you deserve because
And we can all still
It's not
work
fair.
together and
It's
help
not
each
fair to
other
you.
out.
or
Yeah.
the clients or
Right.
anybody else for me to give you half my attention.
and
so
everyone's so hard to have that conversation, but it's freeing, right? It's
It's-
liberating.
well, not only that, if you're a real estate agent, if I'm telling you that, listen, I'm doing X, Y, and Z for the company. I'm growing our business so that we can give you more opportunities as well. But I need you to be okay working with this person. You got to be okay with that.
And they are true relationships. Like,
Yeah.
why would you date someone that you don't like?
Right.
That's the thing.
People do it all the time, though. In the real world, people are with people they don't like.
You got to work with people that you.
You gotta
like.
you gotta respect that. You gotta respect that because like I'm thinking about you and I'm not going to be able to service you to what you deserve, and I want you to have that service. So I got to give you to someone that's going to handle it better. Like you got to respect that.
The next one. I wish the agent would be clear about what a reasonable time to return calls means to them. It seems to differ depending on the subject matter. Please let me know up front. What?
Yeah.
I mean, some agents don't return calls.
But I agree with that. It seems to differ depending on the subject matter because if they need something from you, they want to call back quick. If you need something from them and it's a dodgy subject or it's not that important to them,
It's
might take a
absolutely
while.
crazy that you can be in a transaction with someone who you know isn't busy.
Yeah, dude.
Like, listen, it's like, hey, I'm calling like a person who closes 50 deals a month,
They answer the phone.
which is very. I mean,
That's
I don't
why
know,
they do
I don't
50
even know.
deals a month.
Right. I don't even know someone who does 50 deals a
No,
month.
no, that's a
like
lot.
from a real estate transaction
That's a lot.
perspective,
lot
right?
for
That's a
real-
ton.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Even if 10, 20 is a lot.
Yeah.
5 deals a month is good.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But like, I know this person probably closes 1 or 2, and I text them or ask them for something, and it's like, I just need your title contact info so I can order title work for our client.
So the one deal you're going to close this
I'll let
month.
you know. I'm out on the road showing homes. Well, fucking pull over and send me the text.
Yeah,
Or
I
do
need it right
something.
now.
I
Yeah.
need
Tell
it. I've
Siri
been
to
asking
do
you
it.
for it for 3 days.
Because we do have 20, 30 loans, and I need to get that
Yeah.
off my plate right now.
And I don't want you calling me,
2 a.m.
the days before closing. Where are we? Where are we? Well, we're waiting on title work.
Yeah.
You know.
When you were out showing homes and not telling me who to
Yeah.
order it from.
Next one. I wish the agent.
Sorry, I'm feisty.
Yeah, you are feisty.
You were
a little bit,
feisty
yeah.
yesterday too.
I wish the agent believed the rate is the rate. I have
Believed?
given your client a loan estimate and have no intention of screwing them. I don't get this a lot.
It's become less and less prevalent, but
Most
a lot of
agents
people
stay out of that lane from like personally.
people still think that like we're back in the old days where a loan officer could screw you over in rate and get paid more. They'll make that difference themselves. It's not like it, and like you can't do that anymore. It's illegal, right?
to make what's called yield spread. We used to
you
be
can't-
able.
I can't give you a higher rate to make more money myself.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Right.
The rates are the rates, and we sell something that you can get anywhere, right? It's like selling cheeseburgers. You can get a cheeseburger anywhere, right? But it's a service-based industry. So if I gotta give you good service to get your business.
This to me,
you can get
this
that
to me
rate
says
anywhere.
that this loan officer sucks. Because if
Sucks.
you're a really good loan officer, the agent would never ever question your rate because they just
Correct.
want you to work with you. So personally, like if you're a really good loan officer and your agent has a lot of trust in you, you guys have a good relationship, they would never do this because ultimately they want you to do the deal because they know you're going to close it. You know what I'm saying? So like the reason that, it just
I wonder if we should reach out to the person that wrote this article and have them send this podcast to these loan officers she interviewed.
I think it's just funny.
good, yeah.
There's very
Brandy
few
Young.
people who actually stay fixated on their rate too. Like,
The rate doesn't matter if you're
well,
good.
I mean, listen, it matters.
It
I'm not going
does.
to say rates don't matter,
They do.
but the 1/8 of a point or whatever that they like drive themselves nuts over to lock in, right?
that doesn't matter.
It doesn't. And I know everyone's like, "Oh, I want to, get the," and then
Instead of 4%,
6
I want
months-
3.8.
Yeah, 6 months later, you call them, they're like, "Wait, what?"
I can refinance for free.
Hey, I could drop your rate for free. I don't think it makes sense. Then don't do it.
Yeah. Dumb.
All right. I wish the agent would tell me if the client is shopping the loan. Nothing would change from what I quote or the level of service, but it's hard to put so many hours into a deal only to have the rug pulled out from under me at the 11th hour. You'd think a realtor would understand that.
Why would it? I don't understand.
Well,
Why
how would it be
matter?
at the 11th hour, first of all?
Well,
Because
first of all, why would it matter if nothing's going to change about your rate or cost or level of service? Then why do you care?
Well, if you have a good
if you're
relationship
not
with
going to put any more work into it or any less work into it, why does it matter? You're going to put the same amount of effort into it.
well, the agent should be like, "Hey, man, by the way, just they're shopping you." Like, I would appreciate that heads up. Just like I would, the realtor would want a heads up.
So what are you going to do different if you get that
Nothing,
heads
but
up?
I would want the heads up. Just not because it put a lot of hard work into it. It's so hard to quote a rate, but none of that. Just to know like where I stand mentally, because it's the same way backwards, right? If a real estate agent gives me a client and they end up not using that real estate agent, you got to let them know.
Well, and
Well,
this
for
happens
sure.
all the time.
It happens
right?
all the time.
And it puts you in an awkward position sometimes when someone's like, "Hey, I still want to work with you on the loan, right?
But I don't want to work with so and so.
Or we're buying this for sale by owner, or my mom's
Aunt
sister like just got into real estate and she's going to be heartbroken if we don't use her. I'm like, you should work with so and so, right?
But it's not my call.
And it does happen, you know.
does happen a lot.
And
It happens all
sometimes
the
I
time.
just frankly say to the client, listen, you got to call whoever, you know.
You gotta let 'em know.
Like,
Rip
you got to
that
let them
Band-Aid
know
off.
because I just feel bad. I'm not going to treat you any different if you want, you know, you don't have
And
to
if they
work with
don't
me.
let them know, we got to let them know. We have to. There are
Yeah, like they're
relationships.
going to call and ask what's going on with you, and I got
I'm gonna be like,
I
look,
don't like
they're not using
hiding
you.
in the
They're
shadows
using
like that,
Antilli
yeah.
because it's Antilli, right? It happens to you, right, Mike?
Yeah, it happens. You got to let them know. You got to talk to everybody and just make sure that, you know, everyone knows what's going on. It happens all the time.
Yeah, because it's a big. I mean, changing real estate agents is a pretty big deal. I've had people change to me as a loan officer, and I had to let the listing agent. I mean, people need to know what's happening, right?
Well, and it's always so funny too when someone goes with someone else, but for some reason no one else knows.
Yeah.
And like you start getting emails from
Yeah.
like the
It
coordinator
happens,
or
yeah.
the title. Where's your title order? And I'm finally like, reply all. I am not the loan officer.
Right.
Please contact
Yeah.
like
Yep.
Michigan Credit Union.
But sometimes
or whatever.
real estate agents don't even know they get switched on, right? We'll be doing a deal. We don't
Yeah.
even know that.
Well, listen. I mean, again, it's a team,
Yeah.
right? So hey, they're talking to their bank. Just so you know, I don't really want them to work with their bank, but apparently they get some great deal. Listen, they get a deal I can't beat. But that's on them. We can't force them to work with us. But
Yeah.
like you said, the heads up is nice.
Yeah. All right. The next one. I wish the agent would not withhold information, especially regarding the property that could jeopardize the deal. I mean, if there's no sink or toilet, please tell me.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know how often this happens.
I've never
really
heard
come across-
that one before.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, but I could see. You know, I don't think realtors lie. I think clients
There's
lie.
no sink or toilet. I mean, who the fuck is
The
buying
house
a
is
house
beautiful.
with
It's a
no sink or
it's a
toilet
beautiful
besides
house.
investors or
There's
someone,
just a hole in the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's no car.
I mean, that does happen on refi sometimes, right?
Yeah,
we
that's
got
a client.
Oh, I didn't know you.
gutted the bathroom or the,
Yeah.
the kitchen.
We
right?
just started
But
remodeling
again,
the
that's a
kitchen.
good.
The appraiser's coming
That's
out.
another reason to learn, right? And usually that doesn't happen until you get burned.
Right. Right. And then
Right.
once you get burned, you ask, hey, any
yeah.
renovations?
Any ongoing renovations? Because
Right.
if you get an appraisal, they're going to.
Yeah. Any holes in the ceiling? You know, stuff like that. So
My biggest frustration is, like, we'll talk to a agent sometimes, and like, hey, like, they need concessions. Like, make sure you call me before you submit the offer, right? And
yeah.
all of a sudden Monday you get a PA. It's full price. Taxes are crazy.
No
concessions.
That's
And then the client's like, wait, what?
yeah.
You know?
So everybody understands what Sal's talking about. It's, you know, we get a guy approved for, let's say, $200,000, but it's close. Like if taxes are 10 G's, it blows the ratios out of the water, right? So the conversation's always like, look, it's going to be close. Before you put an offer, I need to run the numbers to make sure that it works. Because for a nightmare scenario for a loan officer is to pre-approve someone and have the deal blow up, because that's on us. Yeah. So, you know, we say, you know, do X, Y, and Z, but if it's close, if it's in this range, I need to know. Well, then you get a PA, like Sal said, and
They never called you.
they didn't call you, but they just put the offer, and they're like, oh, I figured
the
we were
numbers
good.
don't work.
And even with that being said, especially like a month ago, right? Summer taxes just came out. And some of these houses like were bought like a year before, whatever.
Taxes are going up everywhere.
They went way up.
Yeah.
Listing ticket has taxes under what you told them. Hey, they're good at $200K as long as the taxes are under $3,600, right? Well, we look it up on the county website. Oh shit, they're $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not on the agent to necessarily know that, right? The most current tax info, the listing ticket's deemed to be reliable,
Right.
but at the end of it all, how do you
It
know?
just goes to show you how things can get blown up. I don't think so.
So
A lot
it's
of
good
people,
to like, hey, check it out. But even as an LO, right? Well, what are the taxes? You're only as good as your info, right? Like your data.
And that's why Sal's phone's always blowing up, because he tells every agent before you put an offer in, let me know so I can run the numbers and make sure you're good before you get under contract. His phone's ringing nonstop. It's rang like 7 times since we've been here.
yeah, he's busy. He's good. I wish the agent
Thanks,
understood
guys.
I don't have any control over the appraisal. I can't schedule it, change it, or influence it. You can schedule it. I mean, you can, or you can order it.
You can push on it.
You can order it. You can
You
push
know,
on
You
it.
can't talk to the appraiser.
No,
Like,
but
you
I
really don't have
listen,
much control
if
over
things are starting to get delayed, though, like if I order an appraisal Monday and
Yeah.
it hasn't been accepted by like
it. Yeah, you can push
Tuesday
back.
morning,
Yeah.
I'm like,
What's
what's going
going
on?
on? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
is in Royal Oak, not like
Right.
some weird obscure town in Michigan.
No, we can't.
Right?
To be fair, we can't talk to the appraisers. We can't control when they send the report back. I had one appraiser recently have a stroke, literally had a stroke.
That's tough.
And we didn't get the appraisal back, and it was kind of a rushed situation. So like, you know, it's like one of the, and then I just had to tell everybody they had. I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but the appraiser literally, and then you know, sometimes it sounds like you're lying when you say that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's
Well, it sounds. Yeah, I mean,
because they think we have control over it, and I had to like literally like screenshot. I just because it sounds like bullshit, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, they had a stroke, really? No, they really did. So there's not much we can do about the appraisals. We can be on top of it, but again, it's a third party. That's one of the few things that we have very little control over.
But we can push back on the third party all day long, right? Generally, when you sign up with these AMCs,
well,
these
again,
appraisal
yeah, you
management
want to work
companies,
with a lender who has a good relationship with their AMC, right?
Which we do.
Yeah, I mean, we can call and say, hey, what is going on? It's taking forever, right? And I just had one where it was like, contract date's Friday. They're like, we'll have it back by today, which is the 25th, right? I'm like, dude, that's not going to work. Like,
Right.
they got to get it in sooner if they can. Well, and I'm like, I'll pay a rush fee. I'll pay $100 just to get it done, right? The appraiser didn't
Money
take the
talks.
rush fee. They didn't accept it. Then they said they do their best.
Right.
But I think, you know, again, that AMC has good appraisers. She did. She got it back Monday. It's all good. Right. Like, but that communication is what matters. Because
There-
otherwise,
you
we
gotta
just
be on top of
cross
it.
your fingers and pray like everyone else.
Yeah, and they're very responsive back to us, and
It's money.
that makes it better for all of us.
We are fortunate we have a good AMC, but not everybody. You know, maybe
we're also
does.
fortunate that we get to pick our own AMC. A lot of these places out in California, they're just brokers, right? They're at the
or they work for a big company where they don't. you
Yeah,
know,
they're
they
at
have
the-
their own AMC.
they have to use whatever wholesale lender's AMC that they're approved with, but
Right.
like we're also a lender, so we can pick our own AMC, which
Yeah.
is huge.
It is a big deal. It's helped us. We have a great AMC.
Yeah.
They're very responsive.
Well, I think, you know,
need to have him on
to
the show.
that point, right? Aside from the appraisal, like, you want to work with someone who has a degree of autonomy in their business. You know, like, hey, like, you don't have to like send in some like crazy request like via a ticket. Like that word makes me
submit a
want
ticket on
to
there.
just
Oh my
smash
God, dude!
my head
Submit a
into a
ticket
spike.
is like I want to bash my
Submit, well, why
fucking
don't
head
you?
against a
Yeah,
wall.
submit a ticket.
Call an underwriter. Oh yeah, I had to submit a ticket on this one. They're working on it. Who's
It makes
they
you
and
feel
what's
like
what
you're
is
at
this
like
ticket?
a fucking meat counter.
Our turnaround times are 48 hours from the moment that you submit the ticket. Fuck off.
yeah, fuck off.
Right?
Submit a ticket. Like,
Right.
man, Verizon.
Oh my God! Don't
I'm
even get me
about
started.
done, bro.
I know we're all about. To
Well,
be
if you submit a ticket,
done. we're
ticket
we're looking into
reference
it. All right, that's the list, guys. I think it's interesting because I think there's some truth to some of this stuff. I think some of it's just complainy, like shitty loan officers too. At the same time, I think there's, but
bottom line is this.
okay,
Bottom
all right,
line
let's go.
is-
Let's do this.
I can't, and I mean, this is my opinion, right? But I can't stand people who just whine and
Whiny.
bitch and
Shut
expect
the
something to
fuck up,
change.
yeah.
I mean, it's, hey, figure it out.
We're all in this
Right,
together.
you're-
yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Communicate.
Like, it says in your signature, you're a professional realtor. So act like one. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ. And I
But it goes
mean,
both ways.
yeah, or an
Can you
LO.
add
I
that
mean,
to your signature?
sometimes people in our own company, it's like,
Shut up.
Yeah, hey.
It doesn't matter. None of that complaining is
Yeah.
not doing anything for
Right.
anybody.
did that push your file forward?
No. Like
Did
sometimes
we get you another deal?
no. Get on it. Fix the problem. Let's move on because you bitching about it is doing nothing
Yeah.
but pissing me off.
The victim mindset is the biggest epidemic in our whole entire.
A lot of victims.
but it's
Existence.
just a way of avoiding dealing with the problem.
It's kind of human
Bitching,
nature.
complaining,
human
moaning, whatever. Yeah,
Just
Well,
deal with the
just-
problem.
just deal with your shit and get it done.
yeah.
One thing I want to add to the list that I'm surprised wasn't on there was, speaking of appraisals, I wish realtors would understand how an appraisal works and what is a comp and what isn't a comp and where are you pulling your value from. Are you pulling your value from listings
Yeah.
or a
Some
comp?
some real estate agents really know
They do.
their shit.
Yeah. Some
Which
do.
is great.
Very
They're
good.
awesome.
Like give me super valuable data to like put an appraiser in check, right? But often,
Often.
well, the house down the street sold for X. I'm like, bro, it's a tri-level.
The house down the street's
Well,
The house down the
listed.
street's a colonial.
That's the listing agent's fault, bro.
Yeah.
It's always a listing because they're like
There
trying
is
to,
also, to a degree, some onus that goes on the buyer's agent too. Hey, you wrote that offer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
right.
Ultimately, they're scared of losing the business. They don't
Yeah.
want to
I've
tell
heard-
the client your house is not worth that.
You know how
so
many
Or
times-
you just
won't-
list it.
You shouldn't. You
You're
might
right.
not get that house because it's a multiple offer situation, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I've heard this before. Like, oh, you
And
put the software in,
that's
but
tough.
I don't know if it's going to appraise. Then what are we doing?
And sometimes it
Cross
does.
that bridge.
Sometimes it does, but
sometimes it does.
Yeah, the cross
It
the
does.
bridge is just insane.
Mike, we've got about
Insanity.
we have a few minutes left, and we're gonna give you the 3 questions today. All right?
Oh no.
Yeah, you ready? So, question number 1: what scares Mike Jacobs?
What scares Mike Jacobs? Nothing.
That's not
Spiders.
true.
That's
That's not true.
bullshit.
You're scared of your shadow.
It's true. Everything scares Mike Jacobs.
Everything scares
Yeah,
Mike Jacobs.
that's very true.
Everything scares Mike Jacobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a real thing or no? That was it.
I hate spiders
Okay.
and snakes. Snakes scare the living shit out of me.
Good to know.
I've had a bunch of creatures in my house and pets, but my kid wanted a snake. No way.
They wanted a snake?
Yeah. I said I bought him a lot of pets over the years.
Kids who have like
Snakes,
spiders
no
and
way.
shit.
They're
like
weird. Something's wrong with them.
Tarantulas. It's like, why?
Because
No,
I'm thinking
they're
that snake
murderers.
gets
There should
out,
be a list
and I'm
somewhere in
sitting
the
on the
government.
toilet, and that thing's coming up. You ever read those stories?
Ugh. Dude,
What the fuck
I was
are you
in.
talking about?
Listen, when I was in college, one of our friends had a snake. And he
Okay.
was like,
Like what kind of snake? Like a gardener snake? Or
no,
like a real
like
snake?
it was like a little. I
Oh,
don't know.
constrictor, the one that.
What am I, fucking Steve Irwin, dude? But
God
the snake got out, dude. I mean, this guy was like
That's a nightmare.
nonstop on Xanax, so he was just like always sleeping. And one day he's like, "Where's my snake?" And the fucker was in a hockey bag, dude.
Oh my god.
It went into someone's hockey bag. They opened it up at the hockey arena.
Oh god.
We're like, "What? A snake?"
Fuck that.
You know?
Mike's gonna come back from lunch one day and there's gonna be a python on his desk.
Yeah.
All right,
you
Mike.
won't see Mike for a week.
All right, Mike, ready? If you could be one person in our office for a week, who would it be and why?
Oh my god, that's a great one. If I could be one person in our office for a week,
Or in our company.
in our
company.
in our
yeah.
company for a week.
I know who I'd be.
Well, I have to say I'd have to be maybe you, maybe Sal. Go
No,
out.
there's one question. It's one answer. Pick
Brad,
one.
anybody who's traveling or doing something fun, that'd be nice. So I'll go with Sal. Sal's been traveling a lot lately.
Sal is a dream. He's
That would be my
So-
last.
You don't
I
want
don't know, though.
You don't want
That would be my last.
Yeah, I get to
pick.
drive a nice car for a week and wear a Rolex.
Potentially would have some liver problems, but other than that,
Deal with
Man.
8 million phone calls a day.
Yeah,
Done.
I think I'd be.
I'm out.
I'd be Brendan. He's a good-looking chap.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd be
No,
Brendan.
Brendan's been living it up.
I'd be
Yeah.
Chad.
Yeah, he's been. Yeah, he's
You'd
been.
be
he's been-
Chad.
I'd be Chad, bro.
Just straight chill.
All right. Last,
love it.
Last question. Why?
Christ, that was a bad one, dude. We shouldn't have.
No.
I love.
We love who?
I love
All
Chad.
right, let's keep going.
All right. So, and last question is, why do you work at Omega Lending over anywhere else?
Why?
Yeah.
Because you guys begged me to come. No. No, I work here. It's the best place I've worked, honestly. In my career of working, and I've worked for a long time. It's a great place to work.
You don't have to be suck up right
No,
now.
I'm not. I'm being serious. Listen.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we love having you, Mike.
you know,
You've been,
it's
you've been a
great.
great
You
addition.
know, you guys make it. You know, not only do we work hard, but we also have a great time, and
Yeah.
that makes work enjoyable, and you can't ask for any more than that.
I love it. I love it.
On a complete opposite side note, I just thought it's funny, and I
Okay.
implore you guys today and all of our listeners. You ever hear like the 7 degrees of separation or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I found on Wikipedia, within like 7 clicks, you can find literally anything. Like if you say I
With all
want,
the hyperlinks. In
I'll
each
go
of them.
from like microphone, right, to like Imperial Japan in like 7 clicks if you want.
All
It's
right.
insane.
That
Try
just-
it today.
All right, guys.
Nobody has that
Next
kind
week
of
on
time, Sal.
Wikipedia today.
I don't even understand what that means.
I'll
Yeah.
show you.
Guys, thank you for listening. We appreciate it, all our listeners. I mean, can't thank you enough. Obviously, please, like, share,
Review, rate.
hit the like thing a lot
Smash
because
it.
it helps us a lot. I mean, if you like our show, obviously hit like. That way, other people can hear it, moves us up, and we're trying to do our best to give you guys good information and entertain. And I don't know if anybody's really listening, but we're going to
Leave
keep
us
doing
some
it.
reviews. Rate us.
Or text us, call us.
Don't text us. Just
No.
rate us.
IREpodcast.com is where you can find us. All right, guys. We love you. Goodbye.
You've been listening to